I hope, and this is like the ideas we have collected so far. This is a kind of the brainstorming session we have only with the present students. So after, at the end of the session, we'll be having an open, just so we'll be having an open session. We'll collect more ideas from all the people so that this list of short-term and long-term goals, we can expand it. And after this inauguration session also, we'll be having multiple sessions on a frequent basis where you can collect more and more ideas to make this initiative a successful one. So with this, after this initiative explanation very nicely, thank you so much, Saurabh. Sir, Janak sir, it's all over to you, sir. The stage is all yours, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So can I share my file?
Sure, sir.
So the share button activates.
Yeah, sir. Now we can see.
Okay, right.
Now we can see it, sir.
Now I can. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you guys for taking this huge task, but a very essential one, to collaborate, which is fundamental. Okay, and thanks for inviting me to be a part of this journey that you're starting. Actually, I passed out from Pilani a long time ago, 1963. And then when I started working, I was with an American company. And in that company, it was amongst the top 18 companies known as Union Carbide. It is not, it's become infamous now because of the Bhopal accident. But I worked there for 12 years and learned most of my management practices in the initial year from that company. So I became a life member of IIIE, Institute of Industrial Engineers of India, Institute of Indian Industrial Engineers, time ago, but I haven't been very active in that. Okay. So, briefly, I would like to share. So I remained industrial engineer from actively practicing for many years. And in that company, there was a saying that if you're not an industrial engineer, you can't go very far in the company. You can't even become a plant manager. All previous plant managers where I was working in Lucknow were industrial engineers. And then from there, you become a general manager, you go to the corporate level. So industrial engineering was the in thing. That's how I became a member of Institute of Industrial Engineering. What I found at that point of time, industrial engineers were primarily involved in, time and motion studies, productivity, primarily productivity. How do you improve productivity and correspondingly reduce the cost? And they use their methodologies well. But over a period of time, it seems to have lost its. And I also became a member of Institute of Industrial Engineers. And today, that is called Industrial Engineering, Industrial Systems Organization. So no longer industrial engineering, but also added industrial systems. Okay. So let me share with you how it all evolved over a period of time. Frederick W. Taylor is considered the father of the modern management. Some work standards. I did very well. Most companies started following those work standards. And that became the foundation of industrial engineering in the long term. Till around, I think, 20s or 30s, people began to wonder, have you ever seen a movie called Modern Times? Heard about that movie?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's a Charlie Chaplin acting there. it led to a stage that the workmen got dehumanized. That was not the intent, but that's how it got used. Became slave to the standards. But the productivity improved, and that's how we could enjoy, or people could enjoy, mass-produced goods at a lower price. For example, as Henry Ford said, if he has to make a car at a price at which the people can buy, including his own employees, it has to be cost effective. And he used industrial engineering to the hilt to make it happen. But somewhere along the line, we lost touch and we basically focused on that aspect. Then sometime around the mid-30s, then the motivational and creativity group started. And that group was people like Maslow, Carnegie, Herzberg. They started focusing on the human aspect. It says standards are dehumanizing. Okay? So productivity for the sake of productivity. Their objective was you need to unleash creativity amongst people. And for creativity, standards act as a bottleneck. People should be allowed to work as per that and create something new. There was a tussle between the two schools of thought. Systems engineers from Taylor and creativity from this school. And as I remember once reading an article by the famous management guru, what was his name? It's not coming to my mind, I'll tell you in a little while. So he said these two schools of thought worked in parallel for long years and could never talk to each other. In 1996, he wrote an article in Harvard Business Review. What happened then, somewhere in the pre-Second War area time frame, the military hardware they found was not very reliable. So they were able to produce it, use it, but the reliability was poor. And there's a saying that the Allied won the war against the German because the German equipment was not very reliable. They lost a lot of plane because of malfunction rather than enemy fire. So British Standard Institution came up with something, then Mill Standards came up, and subsequently Quality Management System Standard came up in 1979 by BSI and in ISO in 1987. So that gave a different connotation to standardization. And so quality management came into its own in terms of developing. See, the processes are same in the industry, whether you want to improve productivity or you want to improve quality, you want timely delivery. Process is a process, and same people work on it. So this system standard focused more on quality and reliability. That was then. Then what happened, that was Peter Drucker who wrote that article, I remember that now. So what the Japanese did when the competition came in, okay, then they brought in, this is Peter Drucker's theory I'm saying, what he wrote in that article. They brought a bridge across these two. That means the systems engineers, like industrial engineers, and creativity workers. See, how can we get them to talk to each other? So QC Circle was one initial approach in 1960s. So if we have to get people to carry out, follow the standards, they must be empowered to do so. And having developed the system, they must also be empowered to improve the system so that they feel the ownership of the system. So that created a bridge between these two streams of thought, industrial engineers and the creativity people. And they were called quality control circles, and they emanated from, quality management system. And since the processes speak the language of data, very often in manufacturing, even non-manufacturing areas, very often, then obviously we need to use some statistical method, analytical method based on statistics. So that became an important part of. So I remember in my good old days when I was focused on industrial engineering, basically engineers developed all the standards. But in 60s, Japanese showed not only engineers, workmen also have to make a contribution. So whether it's the industrial engineers or quality engineers, they got them involved, got them to get workmen involved in development of the standards and systems. So that was a major transition. So my sense is industrial engineers, quality engineers, production engineers, they all work on the same processes. Okay. The focus, let me share it. The focus of industrial engineers is on cost. And focus of quality management has been on quality. And industrial engineers worked on productivity a great deal. There's certain basic principle. Okay, then what happened is quality management got changed into total quality management. The total part is the employee involvement part. And industrial engineering in a way, Toyota started Toyota production systems. Because in USA they used to call it production engineering, and in USA they call it industrial engineering, and UK they used to call it production engineering. So Toyota started production systems, and one of the Toyota companies, Denso, which also played an important role in evolution of the systems management. They started industrial engineering, and they started calling it total industrial engineering. So TPS and TII are somewhat similar. So the key aspect is getting all the people involved in the development and operation of the system. This was a major shift post-World War, especially in a highly competitive world, and the Japanese brought this shift in thinking. Whether it's in quality or it is in industrial engineering, how do we get everybody involved? And there's certain basic principles. And these principles remain to focus on customer, which was never the focus of industrial engineers. Involvement of leadership, involvement of people. This is the basic foundation. Process approach, industrial engineers are very good at it. Systems approach, again, industrial engineers are very good at it. Continual improvement, that was part of the industrial engineering function. Fact-based, industrial engineering used many of these tools and techniques to make that happen. And later on came, how do we enlarge it from within the company to extended body, that the supplier and the distribution channels also should be involved in the process of system design. So then came in the concept of TQM, involved environment, morale, safety, and delivery also. So in a way, many of these are systems-oriented thinking, whether it is quality or industrial engineering or production engineering, in a way got merged, with each one specializing in certain aspects. Somehow industrial engineers were some of the last ones to do so. Quality management, because the competition maybe started a little earlier than others. So now if you see in a company, let's say after you graduated a master's from IIT, what is your expectation? What do you want to do? If you're looking at a long-term perspective, there'll be one approach. If you're looking at a short-term perspective, there'll be another approach. In the sense, in India in particular, I find TQM, TPS, TPM in a way have been amalgamated very well. In Japan, there's still a tussle between the two. But in India, many companies, especially the living price winning companies, have been able to do that well. So if I look at process industries in India, industrial engineering still has a role to play. So there used to be a function called control, morphed into quality assurance and industrial engineering. Today, most companies have a called business excellence group. Business excellence groups, what do? They again basically do what industrial engineers used to do. So they have industrial engineers amongst them, they have quality managers amongst them, they have quality engineers amongst them. So the role of industry still remains very important. But if we really want to succeed, then we need to get people involved in what we do. The human aspect of getting people involvement has become crucial. Industrial engineers in the past, they thought they knew everything. They were the masters. They were better equipped than anybody else, and they never listened to others. So we need to get away from that conundrum. And that's one of the reasons it declined. But industrial engineering is back in vogue. Decline is over. So when we meet, I was the president of International Academy for Quality for 3 years and chairman of International Academy for Quality. Many of our members are industrial engineers. And many of our members are engineers of International Academy for Quality and International Industrial Engineering. So there's a lot of commonality. Ultimately, we work on processes, people, system, methods, equipment. When the resources are the same, the aim for the resource of industrial engineering was productivity and cost, and aim of quality management was quality. Now move to environment, and morale is a common element, and safety is another critical element. Those are the objectives that we want to achieve, and TQM, TPS, TII means to achieve that objective. And each one of them has an important role to play. I think industrial engineers need to work along with these people, whether it's quality engineers or production engineers, and use our specialization, especially on-time delivery, making processes more efficient, focusing on cost reduction. That's an important element of any business. So there are many common tools. Now, if we want to use this, obviously industrial engineers use many of these common 7QC tools, which have become very popular. Well, industrial engineers have been using many of these tools even before these were called 7QC tools. Of course, Schwartz and company developed it earlier. But tool is a tool is a tool. Basically, anyone can use it. So what I think the Japanese did, they trained their engineers, they trained their workmen to use simple QC tools which quality engineers use and which industrial engineers use. Whether it's a Pareto chart or a Gantt chart or a histogram or all these tools can be used by anyone. So my submission is, if you really want to make a success in long-term career growth, you must start working on line functions. It is industrial engineers, as an industrial engineer, today will not go very far. Quality engineer as a quality engineer or quality manager will get stuck at departmental head level in a plant. But if you really want to go further, you need to start working first on the actual processes, the line functions. Without experience in the line function, industrial engineers or quality engineers can't make too much contribution. They will make contribution, but that will be limited in scope. For short term, it's okay. So both need to complement and supplement each other. But neither, for example, in Toyota, if you ask who is a specialist in Toyota and a quality assurance, difficult to find one. Because they all go into the line function, come back to quality assurance function, go back to line function, come back to Toyota Production System, go back to the line function. That is a given if you want to grow in the organization very high. Okay? Because if I don't know the process myself, if I've never worked there myself, I will never be able to design the most optimum process because I don't know certain aspects of the process. So I think I have taken my time. I think I have spent more time than I had planned for. So today's environment, another aspect is digitization, IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning. It has disrupted the way business is done in any business. So if industrial engineers do not learn and adopt these modern technologies, again we'll have a limitation in what they can deliver. And that's equally true for quality engineers and quality managers. So if I look at an organization business excellence department, very often they have quality engineers. Some of them in process industry have industrial engineers. Many industries, they don't have industrial engineers in this function anymore. If you can show what you can deliver in terms of lean operations, lean processes, it still has a big scope to do that. That's not area where quality managers specialize in. Actually, there's a very thin line between the two. Because no organization can work only on cost or only on delivery, only on productivity or only on quality or only on environment. They are integrated whole. So while you specialize in a line industrial engineering, but you focus also on systems engineering, because world over, I think many I go to UK, USA and in Hong Kong, Singapore, they don't call it industrial engineering, industrial and systems engineering. So ultimately, the purpose is to improve business performance in a competitive environment. That's a challenge. Okay, I think stop there. Thank you very much.
So it's okay, sir. We are really enjoying it. You can go on. We still have time, sir.
Okay, give me 2 minutes. I'll just go to the washroom and come back.
Yeah, sure, sir. I think IIT Kharagpur have been lucky to have the name Industrial and Systems Engineering.
Right.
It is very nice, Akash.
Yes, sir.
We are really fortunate to have Janak ji at the inaugural.
Yeah, sir.
And I must thank Saurabh. Saurabh, you have taken a lot of initiative. It is really nice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It could not have been possible without Akash and without other IITs collaborating with us and coming forward to take up the challenge. And it's very hard
It
to...
looks like our industry family is getting bigger,
Right, sir.
larger, and also extending the scope.
Absolutely, sir.
And this is really nice that Kharagpur, Mumbai, Kanpur, Dhanbad and Delhi on the board. And I'm sure you will be also able to muster other IITs in this.
Absolutely. And sir, NITs also.
Especially my request will be try to get a new IITs
Okay.
because there also we need to spread our message.
Right.
And they are also coming out with another set of initiatives. So that will be really nice if we can collaborate with them.
Sure, sir. We keep that point in mind, sir.
Because today what happens, it is better to get as much diversity as possible.
Right.
Right, sir.
So that diversity comes because of the age of the institute, the faculty profile, the kind of placement you get and so on. There is a lot to learn.
Okay.
So welcome back, Professor Janak ji. It was very nice. And the way you are explaining, it is, we feel like listening to you forever.
Enjoy
Very
the
nice. Please continue.
Okay, what I would suggest is that before I go any further, if you have any questions, I would like to take some questions now and then go further.
Sir, if I can ask one question.
Sure.
Sir, like for example, now, as of now, I'm talking about the current batch, we are freshers. And like you said that we should work with all the people, quality managers, and working as a team, all of them having a common goal and taking to the, for example, taking the journey towards the Deming Prize itself. So, sir, apart from the tools that you said, like we should master in all the tools, like the tools available nowadays and now even now.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No problem, sir. So the factor of people management, I want to learn from you how you mastered that, the thing of people management. I feel that is the most important one. Tools are fine, all the IoT, ML, AI, that is disruption is going on along with the QC tools, but the uh, talent, I would say, of people management, how you mastered that, sir?
My experience is all this you learn on the job. It is even industrial engineering, quality engineering, production engineering, mechanical engineering, education institute, you get a great degree of information on what these subjects are, theory. Like, if I have to play a game of, let's say, tennis, can I learn to play in a classroom? Only when you practice it, you begin to hone your skills and improve upon it. So the education you're going through gives you the foundation, which is absolutely essential to have that foundation. But the real learning, getting into becoming a knowledge, actually comes through application. So that's why I'm saying you should, my suggestion would be production department or join marketing, join sales. Don't become industrial engineers to begin. Industrial engineering is a additional skill you are developing. Immediately you have to deliver a product that's done by the line functions. My recommendation is you should join line functions, and that is where the art of managing people comes. What happens in industrial engineering is quality engineers, they're in a department. They have no role to play in production or marketing or sales or development or anything in the company. They play that role without knowing that particular process. And they don't have anybody reporting to them, not many people, just a few. But if you work in let's say in production or marketing or sales, you have maybe 20, 30, 50, 100, 200 people reporting to you. That is where you learn the art of managing people. And this comes through let me say, of course, the HR people talk about behavioral skills and things like that, but I have never seen anybody's behavior change it after attending a behavioral management program. Okay, so it's really, while you work, how do you, basically the three tenets: respect for people, that's one aspect of people management. Fact-based is second aspect. If you're discussing things on the basis of opinion, there are hundreds of opinions. As many people, as many opinions you have, and the opinions change. When you bring facts to the table, and that's where you see the principle, fact-based, seventh principle, is very, very critical. Okay? Once you bring facts to the table, opinions don't matter, and half the interpersonal problems, 80% of the interpersonal problems are based on opinions. When people see the facts, things become different. Again, system design brings people or converges them to one way of doing things. Helping them to improve brings them creativity. As long as you create an environment which contributes to this, you will manage people well. You can't learn people management in a classroom. At least I have never learned anything. Actually, you can't learn management in a classroom. You can learn theory of management. Right. But the practice of management comes by actually doing it. And that's why I'm suggesting start working in the line functions. But if you want to become industrial and quality engineers, you'll do well reasonably, but not go very far in the organization. Some exceptionally do well, but by and large don't. I don't know whether I've answered your question adequately or
Absolutely,
not.
sir. So the word that got into my mind is now system. Go for the system. Line functions. Through line functions, actually understand the complete system, and that is where the focus should be.
That's right. See, what you see T in TQM, T in TPS, T in total industrial engineering, TPS, lesson in DENSO is called total industrial engineering.
Right.
It's a Toyota production system is what industrial engineers design. Okay.
Right.
Toyota got everybody else involved in the process called Toyota production system. Or TPM, total productive maintenance. That total part is very critical, and that is involving everybody who is impacted by that process in the design and development of that process. Okay? Involvement of the people who are impacted by that process, either designing or the outcomes, must be taken into consideration, their views, while developing a process and improving a process. You've heard about Jack Welch, no?
No, sir.
Jack Welch was the chairman of GE,
Yes, sir.
General Electric.
Right, sir.
Okay.
He's a great proponent of Six Sigma. And Six Sigma is a great methodology to make improvements, which industrial engineers obviously need to follow. Very systematic method of improvement. The American way. The Japanese way is PDCA, QC story.
Okay, sir.
You can follow any one of those two. But as Jack Welch once made a statement, he's a big proponent of Six Sigma and took GE where it was. He said, you know, if you look at 100 projects which have been unsuccessful, you'll find same quality tools, same industrial engineering tools were used. And you find they were successful, again, or unsuccessful, same quality engineering tools and industrial engineering tools are used. The denominator which makes the difference between the two is the people part.
Right.
Okay? So getting people involved in design and development of the process, all the people who are impacted by that process is very important.
Absolutely.
If any of you want to listen to on this subject, I'll be speaking in ISQ on next Saturday. The topic of my presentation is quality is essence of being. Okay? It's all related to people that day. You're welcome to register and attend. There's no fee to that.
Sure, sir.
Any other question?
Is anyone having any question? You can unmute yourself.
No?
Okay, so I don't think so there's any question.
I think industrial engineers also make sure whatever they do shouldn't lose focus on the customer. Because ultimately, customer is only the one who pays the company. Everybody else is an expense item.
Right, sir.
And we very often lose sight of the customer. So that's where the quality managers gain prominence over the last 40, 50 years, because they're focused on the customer. But if I make an excellent product, but at a high cost, I can't sell it. Customer won't buy it. So that's just as important.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Sir,
I think
actually, behind the spirit of people management only because we felt that in terms of activities, we were really lacking. So we created this platform just to have so many activities which can give us a glimpse of people management before getting into professional world.
Good. Have you heard of a term called change management?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Again, Jack Welch was a great proponent of change management. The whole of USA is. But I've never heard change management terminology in Japan. Surprising. You know, we all want to change people, and then we also know people don't like change. People are comfortable with the current status.
Yes, sir. True.
Only one we can change is ourselves.
Right.
But we're looking to change everybody else, but not ourselves. That's our biggest challenge. So change
Sure.
management means how do you manage change about others? I believe in change leadership. If I change, others will follow. And that's what I sense more of the Japanese approach is, Eastern approach, not only Japanese. That's the Eastern culture. India is part of that culture. It is historically, we have always led the change process. Demonstrate the change by your own, change in your own behavior. So as I said, that's a subject of my talk for 1 hour next coming Saturday.
I will share the details with everyone, so for sure.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Am I,
Yes, you're audible, Varshil.
Good morning, sir. I am Varshil Desai from IIT Dhanbad. I have a simple question regarding, apart from academics, I am in first year MTech in Industrial Engineering Management. I want your guidance. Apart from academics, what should I be focusing in these 2 years that can help me in my professional life?
See, I said getting along with the people is the most important aspect. Because as industrial engineers, you have no control over the people who actually manage the process. You have no influence over them. So how do I get them to change? So this, what you started working together in a collaborative effort as an association, is a good beginning. How do we get along with people? Okay. So that is very important. You should focus on how do you build relationship with people? How do you listen to another person's point of view? It's really a self-development approach. And it can't be taught in a classroom. We can talk about the theory aspect, but actually you need to practice it gradually. That is the most important element. And then see where will you apply it? Don't try and do it everywhere. Let's say if you want to create a career of industrial engineering in a shop floor, and choose which particular type of shop company you would like to focus on. Talk to people who work in those companies on the shop floor, the kind of technologies they use. Actually, today everything is, all information is available on the internet. You don't even have to go to a classroom. All books, data, everything is available. So, self-development to get along with the people is the basic. Skills you learn as industrial engineering skills, they'll have to be applied in a given environment and learn about the environment. So let's say, for example, if you want to go into a service organization, then how will you use industrial engineering in a service organization? Your scope may be a little limited than in a manufacturing organization. And as you know, in India, there's a great emphasis on manufacturing in the coming years. The government is now promoting it, what we should have done maybe 50, 60, 70 years ago, which has led China to where it is today. But manufacturing is going to grow. They will need industrial engineers. You have a role to play, but your acceptability is most important to them. How do you make yourself acceptable to the line functions where the change has to occur? Okay, and as I said earlier, first go and work in a line function. Otherwise, you'll find it very difficult to get acceptability. So I worked in, for example, in my early career, I worked in engineering function. In Newland Harvard, engineering function meant maintenance and engineering and services. Then I moved to production function, then somewhat in development, then general management, plant manager. I did work as a, and I learned the use of standards was very, very effective too. And that's what I learned. And just to give you an example, 6 months into my first job in Union Carbide, I was told to manage, as part of engineering function, manage engineering stores. Okay. In addition to machine setups and all that. And they gave me a manual. It was a 300-page manual how to manage stores. So I didn't have any problem just following it. My only problem was others have not even read it while I was trying to follow it. So the power of the systems is so strong. And that learning that you get in industrial engineering is excellent. And again, what I learned subsequently is, we become process oriented. So like, too much of a focus on process, we forget about the results, the outcomes. So that's why you need the system. That means system includes the process and the outcomes. That means the objectives. Don't lose sight of the objective. System is designed with a purpose in mind. Okay. So follow that approach and you'll succeed. As you're willing to work hard and open mind to learn, the success is easy, not difficult.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. So anyone has any other question?
So may I take a question, please?
Sure.
Sure.
Sir, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Karthik. I'm from the Indian Army and I'm an ex IIT Delhi alumni. I did my master's thing. I'm presently posted in the Northeast and we have many issues related to supply chain management, workshop floor management, wherein industrial engineers can contribute a great deal. The nature of our organization is such that it is very dynamic. Industrial engineering problems present itself on a daily basis. Our commitments are also in such a way, sir, that generation of enough data, tackling every problem may not be the priority for us. We work in a way that we need to just get done with the problem at hand, and it gives us very little time to establish a system or a process in place. Obviously, sir, we understand the need that most of these problems can be outsourced, or a team of industrial engineers can be roped in to organize our things in a better way. However, sir, it doesn't fit into the scheme of the Army and it doesn't come into the scheme of the operational priorities. As a conscious industrial engineer, I would like to have a team with me to help me out, and we actually look forward to students from the IITs taking up certain projects, or even institutions taking it as a almost like a dissertation topic for themselves to come and solve problems which we have in the field army. I know your take on this. Is it really feasible to organize something like this?
A very good question. See, when there's a fire, then you need to do what you need to do. But even Army doesn't work in firefighting mode all the time. Okay, bulk of the time it is in a very stable mode. So systems, Army also is highly standardized and system-driven organization. So, and there's also a degree of discipline, which in many commercial organizations is not very strong. But as you said, it's not taken seriously. That is the role of leadership. What the leader of that particular process or that particular group wants to achieve. And these are challenges. Ideally, if it's from the top, nothing like it. But waiting for the ideal leader, you'll wait for the rest of your life. I have never met an ideal man. Okay, so don't wait for that. And don't blame the top.
Right, sir.
Each one of us has many people like Lieutenant Colonel. You have lots of people working with you. Okay.
Sure.
So you are a leader for those people. So if you can decide that you would like to streamline the supply chain, first list what are the major issues in the supply chain. If you have a list of 3, 4, 5 major issues, maybe 10 major issues, don't look at all 10. Principle of prioritization. Use Pareto to find what 1, 2, or 3 at the most important. Then you talk to your boss. This is what I want to resolve. Don't talk to him about industrial engineering. Just tell him you have an operational issue. These 1, 2, 3 at the top. I want to resolve these issues by making the supply chain more efficient so that these issues don't have to be dealt on a day-to-day basis. If he buys in, actually you don't even have to talk to him. You have the power to do so. See, if you demonstrate that you can do it, obviously to engage some external resource, you will probably need maybe some financial resource and you need the boss's approval for that. But then you have to say, this is what I will resolve. And then industrial engineer coming over there to change your system will not work. He needs to understand how the supply chain works. If he doesn't understand that, what will he do? He'll come out with some theoretical ideas, what to improve, where to improve, which will never get a buy-in from. Even if they are right, they won't get the buy-in from the people working in that supply chain. So the better approach will be you make a cross-functional team of the supply chain who are involved in this. Then it's your job to improve. Now they need some skills of industrial engineering. Then you introduce an industrial engineer in that team who has to work with that team to make that improvement happen. The ownership of improvement needs to rest with that team from within the supply chain function. And in that team, obviously, you must get somebody, even within the supply chain, the customer, whom that supply chain is delivering. Okay? And
Right, sir.
bring an industrial engineer who helps them to look at the data differently, helps them to how to do process mapping properly. He helps them how do you develop a value stream map and things like that. So he becomes a facilitator. So he must play the role as a facilitator. Industrial engineer has no other role except as a facilitator. And that's where the human aspect is very critical and important. And you will be
Thank
able
you,
to achieve
sir.
dramatic results.
Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. So is there any other question? I think so. Okay. So before we move on to the session of open discussion, I would like our beloved Professor S.G. Deshmukh from IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay people will be really happy that he is one of our alumni. So sir, please can you unmute yourself and just 2 statements from your side, please.
Let me unshare this now.
Very nice. And I must congratulate your team, especially Akash, Akhil, Luther and Saurabh for taking this initiative. And you asked me about 2 sentences. First sentence is you must collaborate and cooperate.
Okay. Sure.
You must bring, as I said, other IITs on the board. You must share, collaborate and cooperate. What you should share, you must share the best practices, the kind of project work you are doing and so on. And the second, as Janak sir was mentioning very appropriately, the people management. Now, as an industrial engineer, we have to basically focus on management of people. And this skill has to be practiced. So there is absolutely no substitute for practice in this. And especially your generation on one hand is very fortunate. Right from the birth, you are in the full ocean of digital and virtual world. But as an industrial engineer, there is equally exciting and opportune world where you interact with people. And the skills in this dimension are to be acquired provided you start interacting, you start communicating, you start understanding. I think what Professor Janakji has mentioned very rightly, the quality movement. The processes are known, but ultimately the process owner and the person who is going to execute is a human being. And as a human being, there is a psychology. Professor Janakji, we always give reference to the theory of profound knowledge, in which the orientation about the system, acceptance of variability, which is natural, and having a deep understanding of the technicalities and the psychology of worker, psychology of the workplace, psychology of how human beings interact with machine and so on. So that aspect is very, very important. I think as an industrial engineer, we must start appreciating this. And in this, even if it is a small assignment, you just try to interact. You try to see the world around you. For example, I would say this Corona has also given us a beautiful opportunity. Beautiful opportunity, the way we are meeting and the way we see world around us. I think just try to leverage that. I think that will complete your training. I think that is my suggestion. Collaborate, cooperate, and look around immense opportunities available for honing your people skill. I think that is my suggestion.
And sir, some views about this initiative.
This initiative is very nice. Initiative, I would say, frankly speaking, we're waiting for this initiative. And now it has come. Thanks to 2020 world as thrown us by Corona. And this is also a good opportunity to interact and share. And as you must have realized, when you talk to Luther, you talk to Saurabh, you talk to Akhil, you get a different perspective.
Absolutely.
What IIT Kharagpur is doing, or what is the focus of IIT Bombay, or how ISM Dhanbad. Varshil has asked a very nice question. So Varshil, maybe you can take initiative at IIT Dhanbad and just try to collate the practices which are available, the skill set which is available at every institute. For example, IIT Bombay is very strong on OR, and the way the expertise which is with this, the location of IIT Bombay, and a very healthy interaction with industry. I think you must try to understand and share the knowledge base which is existing elsewhere. And thanks to social media, now you have got the tool. And Janakji has also mentioned that as an industrial engineer, we are also fortunate to have a very strong tool set. But what happens when you try to apply this? See, we should not be seen as a person who is just a toolsmith. But rather than tool, we should also look at the issues. Understand the situation, understand the context, understand the culture, and then start operating the tool rather than other way around. For example, there seems to be a growing perception that I can apply machine learning, I can apply AI everywhere. Now, theoretically, it is good, but then you lose very strongly on the human dimension or people dimension. So Karthik was just mentioning about the immense potential. Now, Karthik, you are there?
Sir, I'm there.
Karthik, a popular, I would say, saying in army, they say that what matters is the man behind the gun. And moment man behind the gun comes into picture, our industrial engineer comes into picture. See, gun could be highly sophisticated, but the person who is going to operate, the person who is going to be trained, his mindset, his motivation. Janakji has also mentioned very strongly about the fundamentals of industrial engineering coming through Maslow, coming through creativity, and in general, the way industrial engineering has evolved. So there is a big element coming from the human contribution. Creativity literally has no bounds. So as an industrial engineer, I think we must understand the spirit. And rather being labeled as a tool-centric, we should be issue-centric. Look at the application where a particular tool has to be applied. How that tool is to be applied, how I muster my team, how I bring expertise into picture. Now that is where your creativity, as sir has rightly mentioned, your spirit of change management and the people management will come into picture. So let us try to gate ourselves. For example, the way you have organized this event. I'm sure your people skill must have been honed to a different level. It is easy to interact with, let us say, 4 or 5 people. But crossing the boundary of 5 IITs and getting the doyen of quality on board like Janakji is a very, very challenging task. And you did this. So that means you can execute assignments of a higher dimension. We have to just try our limit, extend our limit, stretch our limit, and then hone this kind of skills. And fortunately, I'm using deliberately the word fortunately. Fortunately, nobody will teach you this. Because moment it is taught, the spirit of creativity, the spirit of spontaneity, and the spirit of implementation is lost. Janakji, many times there was a very interesting case, sir. One engineering institute, I was associated, and it started with very few faculty members. And moment the management started recruiting faculty, students were not very happy. They said that faculty is unnecessarily trying to encroach on our creativity. We can learn a lot by ourselves. Now unnecessarily this faculty will tell 10 different rules by which you cannot do a particular thing. Are you getting my point? The point is that we must learn from experience besides the formal classroom teaching that is already there. But now thanks to Corona, there is a huge potential which needs to be leveraged. So utilize this forum for leveraging this. The expertise which is available elsewhere, and trying to understand the practices which are there at each and every location. And please remember, we always take pride in unity, in diversity. So we are diverse in terms of skills, expertise, the kind of project, the liaison with industry, and so on. So utilize this diversity to your advantage and just try to be as focused as possible. I think that will really enhance the spirit of your forum, which is basically, as I understand, a forum for exchange, forum for leveraging each other's strength, and basically to understand the fundamental spirit of industrial engineering. And that fundamental spirit of industrial engineering is for continuous improvement. So let us try to leverage that. Thank you, Akash. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Janak sir, and thank you, Deshmukh sir. We all really got to learn a lot from all these words. I've noted down all the points, and at my personal level, I got to learn a lot. If everyone has noted down the points, that's also good. So before moving on, let's open the discussion for just 5 minutes of open discussion. I know the time is already past 11:30. It's just 5 minutes of discussion on if we can collect some ideas on how we can make this initiative more successful. It's been successful to a certain point, so I am saying more successful. So the ideas we have so far are these. I'll just share my screen. If anyone has any other idea, please just go through the ideas we have so far, and if you can just give 1 or 2 more ideas, that would be really great. So Saurabh, is my screen visible?
Yes, Akash, it's visible.
So if you can just read out the ideas, Saurabh, for everyone.
Yeah,
please.
sure. So as far as you can see that we have our short-term plans and we have our long-term plans. In our short-term plans, we are planning to organize official to collaborate with the members extending to various IITs. Currently, we have on board with 5 IITs, as we have already mentioned: IIT Delhi, Kanpur, Dhanbad, Bombay. We are also trying to not only limiting it to the students, we are also extending it towards the professors from participating IITs, as well as with the alumni to extend it for the better reach and establishing a better connections, so that we could get a real feedback on how to leverage this opportunity and expand it even further. We are also planning to organize an interactive seminars, this being one of them. I mean, we have just inaugurated and we are planning multiple events in the coming days as well with the industry leaders. And then we have our LinkedIn page ready, where we'll be generating a mass awareness, getting the recognition from the industry leaders, especially focusing towards the manufacturing and the FMGC sectors, collaboration with the various societies on the national levels as well as on the international levels. Frequently updates regarding the ongoing activities, various research projects and newsletters on the various social media that will be shared on the LinkedIn platform. We have already shared couple of newsletters and couple of things related to our industry engineering field on our LinkedIn platform. As far as long-term goals are concerned, we have planned to get exposure from the industry exposure by visiting them, and then a couple of research thesis assistance from this industry, as well as some looking forward to for some funded projects to be made accessible to ourselves. Organizing various activities camps, we do believe that these activities are very crucial. As sir mentioned, apart from the theoretical knowledge, the management skills and the openness coming from individual person in terms of group discussion, case studies, role plays and mock interviews. This will be helping not only just for the current students for their industrial exposure, but also in the long term honing their own management and personal soft skills into them. We will be collaborating with other institutions like MBA students. It will be open for them as well, because they have their program of operation management in their one of the core domains in the MBA programs. So we'll be planning to collaborate with them, and then we'll be conducting various activities as stated earlier regarding the in terms of the participation and in terms of the case studies and the group discussions. So these are overall our short-term goals and the long-term goals that we have stated right now. More suggestions into this and any other recommendation from your side is highly welcome. So Akash, please, any suggestions, kindly note it down on your screen.
Sure. We'll just at 2-3 minutes, please give your suggestions if you have any. And also this brochure can be found on our LinkedIn page as well. So you can go through these points again. And if you have any suggestions, any contribution you can make, any session you can give, or any content you can give to us, please reach out to us to our email ID. That also we'll share it on the WhatsApp group also, and can be found on our LinkedIn page as well. And as of now, if anyone has any ideas, please you can share with us. On how we can make this initiative successful. Any idea other than these?
Hello, Akash.
Yeah, so yeah, please go ahead, please.
Okay. This is my view. If everyone agrees, we can proceed on this. I think we can use this opportunity as we are already on this Google Meet. So if everyone can take out 1 minute and just copy paste their LinkedIn ID in the chat box, it will be easy that we can directly connect from now onwards only. And from this point, we can expand our connections. So
A great
what
idea.
are your views on this?
So all those who are present can paste their LinkedIn ID links in the chat box simultaneously,
So
right?
Akash, what I think it would be better if you could just share the IESA LinkedIn page ID. People can just directly send the connection requests over there. Although I strongly believe that we have shared these LinkedIn connections requests to everyone, but those who have not sent the request there, we can share it here right now. So let me. It should be there, right?
There are spaces in between, just take that into account. So I think in the terms of ideas, please share any ideas you have on our email ID, or you can reach out to us through our LinkedIn page. Any ideas are most welcome. We need more and more ideas to make this initiative a successful one. So, and we need, most importantly, participation from everyone in all the upcoming sessions as well. So with this thought, I again would like to thank Deshmukh sir and Janak sir for their valuable words. We have really learned a lot. And with this, I'll just transfer the stage to Akhil from IIT Kharagpur, and he will give us the closing statements.
Thank you, Akash. So concluding the event, first and foremost, we'd like to express our sincerest gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Janak Mehta, for giving his valuable time to ESA and appraise it with his heights and suggesting ideas for better future of ESA. Secondly, we would like to thank the Masters of Industrial Engineering, our professors from IITs, who shared their valuable ideas with us, which we will surely implement for benefit of ESA. We also appreciate the efforts of each core team member for showcasing remarkable dedication and excitement in making this event a grand success. So thank you everyone for joining this event. Thank you.
And before closing, please, I would like everyone to please turn on their videos for a moment, because we really want to record this moment. It would have been great if it would have been a live session, but because we are all online, let's just please turn on your cameras for a moment. We'll take a picture and record this moment forever.
Yeah, definitely, Akash. Had it been a personal physical meet, we would definitely have clicked a very nice group photo with a beautiful smile. But let's switch on everyone video and put on a smile on their face. We can take a screenshot.
Please, everyone, it's a request.
Yeah, sure, Varshil. Okay.
If anyone is facing any problem, that's not an issue, please.
So 30 more seconds. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much again, and have a great day. Please take care of yourselves.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Wish you great success in your endeavor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was such a
Thank you,
pleasure
sir.
having you here.